Hello and welcome back to Wixo. We're back here and we're quickly getting started with the pink team war. One thing that was interesting about this is the pink team was actually under a red team provided government. Why did the red team invade them? That's what you're wondering, right? I wonder that too. But the red team may have just answered the question. Why are they invading? They say the big team government didn't do enough to get rid of the religion known as paganism. And when people hear that the red team is just upset because of paganists, they're kind of mad, saying you didn't have to start a war just to get the paganists out of the pink team. You could have just drove the paganists out. You could have just told them to do. But the red team also had ambitions of gaining land. So it checks out because the red team is also an evil empire, as people just say, refer to it as the big empire of the world. And yeah, the red team is just, in the eyes of the rest of the world, is an imperialist empire. And the pink team barely has any major cities left, so the pink team just has to surrender soon. But they're starting to lose more and more territory. And if I was the pink team, I'd surrender fast. They have no major cities left. At this point, you're so weak that if you continue to fight, you'd lose this war. Yeah, if you fight, that's how bad it is. If they continue to fight any longer, they'd lose. And anyway, these guys in the north are invading, though they're not that strong. They can, the big team can still beat them, but if if the if it was pre-war, they could easily beat them. But now the big team is officially running out of time in this conflict as the pink team loses more territory. Yeah, this is not looking good for the pink team. Pink team. As the pink team used to be the strongest empire in the world, now the pink team has to obey orders. Well, one of the strongest empires in the world, not the strongest. It was not Pink Empire. Well, under the religion of paganism, the people were more unified under the cause that paganism states. Yeah. Anyway, this is going to be a big deal what happens in this treaty. So you should. This affects every human on the planet. And most importantly, China. China's not that great at stability. Not at all. What did. One thing could happen if you just wrinkle a feather, they'll collapse. So China is not trying to go to war over this at all, actually. Okay, in this peace treaty here, the red team gains all this. These guys get up this, then these guys get this. Yeah, they third partied it. Now, you may be wondering, why is the red team so imperialist in these past episodes? Well, it may just be because but they're worried about China's imperialism, as China is doing a lot of imperialism for themselves. The next act of imperialism they're doing, oh, this next act of imperialism is very bad for the red team, at least. The red team hates the fact that these guys just added in Korea and the yellow team up here into the parallelogram alliance in this useless country. They feel threatened, so what they're going to do is actually something very risky. Well, they go in to the purple team and flip the government and give them a new Star Alliance aligned government. And how did they do that? Well, through pink team occupation zones. While the treaty was going on, they actually teamed it. It was held here, and they killed the purple team leader, and they influenced the new purple team leader. And yeah, it yeah, it wasn't good. And the purple team kind of held that against them. So yeah. Oh, you are not in the Star Alliance. Stay out of Star Alliance, buddy. You are in the Parallelogram Alliance. I could actually expand your parallelogram. Now, these guys have a big parallelogram. And one thing that's going on right now is the Russians joining in on the Lightning Bolt Alliance. Not that big of a thing. Now a really big thing is the signing of the Lime Co-Spear, founded by these guys. The Lime Team, Pink Team, Egypt. Yep, the Lime Co-Spear is the name of this. Then there's this Libyan country, this Egyptian country, and yeah, that is pretty big for an alliance. That's not done. I'm not done yet, though. Yet this country also joins the Grand Lime Co-Spear. Basically, they're trying to stay out of the influence of big major powers, out of the big influence of the big four powers. Like the big powers, they're trying to stay out of their influential zones. So they're creating their own, being known simply as the Grand Lime Co-Spear. Now, why is the Lime team not colored in the Co-Spear? Probably because they are kind of salty about their history. Now, anyway, on the civilizations layer, some things are going to happen. Mainly, of course, being something happening with the exploration about time. So, for fun, explorers just start exploring more of Africa because they find it very interesting that humans originated from Africa. So now they're deciding to explore it. Countries that are from Africa usually have a good reputation because of that whole world African heritage. Whole world having originated from everyone in the world originating from Africa. And everyone's very interested in this grand Africa idea going on up here. Meanwhile, these guys, the brown team, got something interesting. An opportunity to expand. And I'm going to hate these borders. Am I going to hate these borders? Yes, probably. Now, why is Cairo expanding? It makes no sense. There's no reason for Cairo to have this expansion. Unless there's something they aren't telling the world. And meanwhile, anyway, getting away from that, ominous, we're going off to the European continent, where a new country is forming here, known simply as the Grand European Empire. So they're not really grand or well, they are European, but It's like the Holy Russians. Well, the Holy Russian Empire and it is Brunswick, so they're not holy. They are Russian, but they're not an empire. Actually, they're not holy, they're not Russian, and they're not an empire. Because they're not even under the nation of Russia anymore, because Russia doesn't even exist. But anyway, enough talking about other people's lore. Time to talk about our own lore, being the fact that people are exploring up here now. Yeah, very brave. And what country is going to be taking advantage of all this? If you guessed, the big Russian country, that's correct. Russia kind of has like an expansionist guy, power saying, hey, we will become a large place, so Russia will be so large that you'll never need to travel outside of Russia. So Russia's saying, stay inside of us, and you'll never really want to leave. Stay inside us. We're doing this so you never want to leave. It's kind of evil if you think about it, because they're making their people want to stay in Russia, not to like explore the world and stuff. They're kind of being like a little weird about this, and also the fact that they have all of this territory now is kind of huge for the series. Definitely huge for the Lightning Bolt Alliance, because the Lightning Bolt Alliance is like, oh my goodness, are allies capable of that? And other countries are asking that same question. Should we get an ally? Though they're asking actually like different questions. Like, should our allies be capable of that? Of expanding all the way out. So other countries are having a different thought process about this. Instead of saying that's a good idea, instead they're saying we want our allies to do it too, so we can show off that the Russians aren't special. And now, anyway, down in Korea, with the help of their new found funding from China, is kind of now. No, you're not doing that. Becoming Korea is now officially occupying Korea. All of Korea is under the Koreans. It's a big day for the Koreans. And also a big day because the ocean got NNHRB. No, no, not really. Actually, that didn't happen. Just pretend I didn't joke about the ocean and NNHRB. Those will come up later. And if you don't know what an NNHRB is, watch it is Preswick, so because they don't even exist in our world yet, so how would you know what an NNHRB is otherwise? Unless you're like a scientist trying to figure it out. But the non-nuclear high-range spot. Anyway, yeah, this is kind of huge for the world. Now that Japan is kind of being explored, they're like, what is this place? People are wondering, what is this place they just found? They're wondering what they just found. Oh, they found it. Good, solid questions, if you ask me. But anyway, enough distractions. Japan will get mentioned later. It's time for some more Chinese exploration. Listen, China should have probably been more explored by now, but laziness. But I have a friend whose name is Laziness, and you kind of get where I'm going with this. Laziness kind of took over. Yeah. Anyway, now there's a new country down here, more simply known as just like a Chinese imposed state that's kind of just here for to make the Chinese happy. Because these guys are just here because China wanted a new puppet, or rather, ally. But yeah, this is kind of like a big thing. Oh, and they kind of expand out too. One thing is really cool. This border right here is the oldest border in the entirety of Wixo, I believe. I believe that it's the oldest border in all of Wixo. I might be wrong though, but check the check all of the episodes. I've got all the save files that you'll need, so come to me if you. Well, I might create a Discord and post them on there, but probably not. Probably not, but I'm thinking about it. Oh no, definitely not that. Anyway, uh, these guys explore down here, and yeah, this world is starting to look a lot more filled in. But before, and that's my goal because I need to get this map ready for colonization in like a couple episodes. Though granted, I'm not going to be fast paced with my Rexo, so probably not that much colonization at that point. But there will be have to be colonization for the progression of the plot. But since we've just been in like this same era for a while, for 11 episodes now, but like Europe is not fully explored. This is kind of like a hard time to identify compared to our history. Like you could say, oh, that's World War II, and know like the kind of time period they're in. Oh, it's World War III. You can kind of identify the time period, but less so. But once you get past like World War V or World War VI, then you can't really identify. And if you're before then, well, it's hard to identify. The colonial era, it's easier to identify where the Wixo is compared to real life. And honestly, I'm really liking how this Wixo is going so far. Anyway, there's another new country. Oh, down here. Being known simply as this hot pink team. This is not the same hot pink team. Oh, that just got eliminated in the treaty of whatever that city is called in real life. The purple team. That also caused their government to get flipped into a red team ally state, aligned state. And anyway, down in Africa. New country alert, new country alert. This country is kind of going to be like Chinese and Native Pro Wixo color. This country is going to have such weird borders, but it's fine. This country only has a tiny access to the ocean, lol. Rip. And anyway, the red team, the most expansionist country in the world, is going to be on the move, taking all of this land down in Africa. Kind of starting up the colonial phase of the Wixo. Not really, though. The Wixo. But anyway, these guys try to expand out. Oh, Now there's a massive union taking up all of this space. Actually, that's a pretty good color. I might just create a union like that someday. North Africa. When the map is like really different. It was like so changed since like first episode. Like a ton of changes going on. But the African countries divide up Africa instead of like Europeans for now. For now, it's just Africans dividing up Africa because, yeah, no pesky Europeans yet. They're all busy becoming European, being European, and starting to exist, just starting to exist at this point. And, um, yeah, this country, Carthage, can't get much land though. The Algerian country can get a ton of land from this claim. So they claim all of this down here. Now Africa's looking a ton more filled in. Oh, and now these guys are under their control. Oh, these guys. Now another country to going to actually create another country kind of down right here. Now this country is not that good looking, so I'm assuming they're not gonna last that long. Actually, I'm going to scrap these borders. They're awful. I'm going to draw in some actual borders. Okay. Let's get doing it. Straight line borders. Yes, perfect. Straight line border. Okay, decent, decent. Oh, that's what's going on. Yeah, that's the new borders of this country. Amazing borders. Straight lines are the way to go. No, not really. Straight lines are the worst borders to have in this. Because I purposely give countries like these straight line borders to be real life accurate. Ugh. I hate accuracy and no. I'm going to actually give them this darker color right here. And yeah, that is our Africa update. 23 minutes in, going strong. Let's keep on going. So Africa is all updated now. The world is looking quite interesting, if I had to say so myself. Not in a good way or a bad way, just in an interesting way. Didn't imagine what this would be episode 11. Spoilers. When I started the series, I couldn't even imagine that I'd have 11 episodes that looked just like this. So I do kind of have plans in my head for what happens next episode, what happens next. Though most of this episode I haven't had a plan for besides like the pink team war. Uh, yeah, I really just haven't had plans for it. Yeah, I haven't been planning out these episodes really that much. Besides saying, okay, we haven't had one of these major wars in a while, so I think we should do it. Though there's probably not going to be major wars as frequently anymore because it's probably just going to be more internal conflicts, more like small regional wars. Well, not well. It's hard to have a small regional war right now. this period of the Wixo. And there's also kind of like a new civilization here, though. Just like a completely new thing. Over here in Japan. So this is going to be a confusing interaction between the two. And they're like, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Good, good. Great, great. Like one of those really awkward conversations. Oh, really? They don't speak the same language. So after a while, they finally understand each other's languages. After finally getting the gist of each other's languages, they can speak to each other good enough to say, we don't want war, we want peace in the region, and they both agree. So both civilizations agree, well, these guys don't have a color. So yeah, civilization, the series is going amazing. Doing civilization started over Wixo has been an amazing experience, by the way, so far. And thanks to everybody that's watched. Man, you can see the date right down in the bottom right hand corner. So yeah, that shows you when I'm recording this. That means like some of the videos are not. Most of the videos for the Wixo that I've recorded are not out yet. And there's also some new borders on this island. Again with the straight lines. Well, yeah. Come on, straight lines. Come on, man. Well, yeah. This is the current Japanese borders. I'm honestly loving this Wixo and everything about it. I'm loving everything about it, except updating the province layer. That sucks. Yeah, it's awful. Don't don't do like how start Wixo like how I did, immediately jumping right into doing the provinces right after I finish episode 1. Please don't. It will pain you and make you reconsider doing the series. I've reconsidered it multiple times, but each time I've tried to reconsider, I decided I want to do this. So I want to make something on the level of Ada's Pros. Not really on the level of Ada's Pros, but like not like a not that not too far away from that. There's just I can't make stuff on the level of him because I just got paint.net. That's what I use to upload my videos. And if you want a tutorial on how to get paint.net, just just go to a channel called Augusto Mapping. He has a tutorial. I really suggest you watch it. I can't tell you what I did. I don't even remember what I did, so yeah. Augusto is your best way, so if you know anyone who's trying to start a Wixo, call Augusto. Well, no, just watch his tutorial. Don't call him. He doesn't even know who I am, so don't do that. Yeah. Anyway, this Wixo is looking very interesting. This map is very weird looking. And anyway, we're going down to the stability layer, and specifically to China's stability layer. Oh, and parts of China just got disappeared. Okay, China's stability is pretty good. Well, not really, though. They haven't had too many problems since the war. Until now. with Chinese stability. After the war, their Chinese stability was already at an all-time low during the war, because everyone else's stability was kind of dead. And China stability is completely gone. The first event of the entire Civil War is going to be a rebellion in the south of the country saying we want independence, we want justice, we want freedom from China. Though the oldest border in the world still stands. And now this country has rebelled away from China. And quickly, there's a couple more rebellion groups. But for now, the next major rebellion is going to be... Actually, there's too many green countries in Europe. Unless I do this, load it. Actually, there's not any countries like this color around them. So why not? There's this color rebellion too. They only have access, well, control to one major city, though. Well, now two. Now, you may be wondering, why is China completely fumbling? Why is China fumbling their entire civil war? Already, there's only two rebellion groups. And China is one of the strongest countries in the world. How are you losing to these guys? To say the least. Not to offend them, but they are not strong at all. Well, actually, I could just change the borders of these countries. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The world... The reason why China has just fallen apart is because of some thing they did. Basically, they're making a repeat of history of what happened. Well, there's kind of like a repeat of history with North China, though this time, China might lose all its allies, so this China has more on the line than episode 4 China did, because episode 4 China kind of just not that strong. So episode 4 China was actually one of the stronger countries in the world. Just the fact compared to this China speak, compared to what they call South China peak. Their peak was kind of small. In fact, they just had the lamest one out of every single country in the world. They were the lamest. Quickly, these guys start to take this land up here. And the reason for these rebellions is the fact that this region in China is being prioritized over the whole country being prioritized. They're not they're just simply prioritizing one region. This is not going too well for them. Their prioritization of where the money is made, which leads to a rebellion color that has never really been used except for for a rebellion color that hasn't been used in a while. The color the Chinese should be scared of. This rebellion, kind of like the color these guys had, is now back. China is absolutely terrified. And anyway, time for the episode power rankings. So we saw that a lot has changed. Well, yeah. We are not going to include any of the warring states in this power rankings, basically. So going to the power rankings later, we could basically erase this because some things have changed. Oh, not that. Not that. We're not erasing countries here. We're not sending countries to the graveyard. Not yet. Though I needed something interesting to happen this episode, so China. I wanted to get rid of power in China for a little. Though China kind of already has some power still left in it, though it felt China just as being there lurking for a while in the background. Kind of as like the main villain of it, not really, but if you get my drift, basically I'm just saying I don't know why I got rid of China. Though the reason China rebelled, had all these rebellions, the in-universe reason is they're just not treating the people well. So anyway, we're keeping warring states off the list here, so that way we don't have to worry about this being complicated. So number one strongest country in the world, red team. Number two, these guys. Being known as New Mesopotamia or Turkey. Now three is a hard country to place. It's hard to place the third strongest country in the world. Though I think the purple team still keeps that spot. Fourth strongest, kind of same as these guys. Now fifth strongest. The fifth strongest country in the world. I'm going to give the fifth strongest country to a country you wouldn't expect to be the fifth strongest. I'm going to be giving it to this Caspian country. Though it's also because they have a ton of troops stationed in them, but they kind of are just on a lookout. Since red team troops haven't left the border yet. But it's fine. Number six is going to be a shocking one. It's going to be the nation of Russia at number six. Now number seven. Well, just putting military alliances aside. Who is it what? Now, power rankings number seven is going to be these guys. The Co-Lime Sphere has kind of strengthened these two a lot. Now, number eight is going to be this Chinese country, kind of like taking over as the head honcho. Ninth place, I feel, would go to these guys. 10th place, these guys. 11th place, Korea. 12th place goes to the blue team. Now, 14th place is going to be Egypt. Why is Egypt behind all these countries, you may be wondering? I don't know. The collage here has actually not benefited them. It's done the opposite. The problem, it might mean that the co-live sphere is a ploy. But who knows? But the 15th strongest country in the world is Ukraine. Not so shockingly. Now 16th, these guys don't have strong allies. But 16th strongest country in the world, I'd probably give it not to the country that mess, but I'm going to actually give it to China still. They're still 16th strongest, though they're in their collapse era. 17th is these guys. Now, the 18th strongest country in the world. That's a hard pick, but the pink team definitely fills that requirement for that. Now the 19th strongest country in the world is going to probably be another one in Africa. It's going to be these guys as 19th and these guys as 20th. Now you can see that these two are obviously going to be the strongest countries in the world because they are doing a lot of imperialism in the last two episodes. These guys have invaded this country and this country, I think. Or did they invade this country? Let me check. My saves. Nope, they didn't. They only invaded that one country. Never mind, they only invaded that one country. I thought they invaded these guys. But I guess not, they only invaded Caspia. And I guess they both did two invasions in the past two episodes. So they're kind of, these two are kind of in like a, kind of state where, these guys declared war on somebody, we gotta do that. Oh, those guys just declared war to counter us, we gotta do that too. Oh, they countered us. They countered our counter. So we're gonna counter their counter on our counter. Basically just that kind of confusing. Anyway, going over to the coalition's lair. Notice that I'm stupid, I haven't erased the coalitions. And the coalition layer is out of date. It's dated, so it is very out of date. So let's fix that. The coalitions are gone. Though these coalitions actually stayed here for a while. These guys were meant to be in that coalition. These coalitions stayed here to counter for a while, but these guys eventually just left it. And now looking at the military alliance layers, at the military alliances layer, these guys left, kind of resulting in these guys leaving their alliance. And shockingly enough, Korea just left. And they just joined. So the new members already are leaving. And it makes no sense for actually these guys to have alliance, but kind of does, but if you think about it. The green team has no business being in the alliance because there's kind of really no one they need to defend their borders from around them, so yeah. That's the final event of today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. And goodbye!